One of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness.
Me! I must appease him with the gift of a man. Come to me! I must take you to the room of wish. No, take him! No! Take them! Don't hate me! Don't hate me! I'm sure that we will be fine.
They're eating kids. They're eating kids. They're eating kids. How the fuck is nobody upset? They're eating children.
Somebody you admire, somebody you respect, or maybe even love. And it feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your penis, it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good. And when I first said this years ago, people were like, you're crazy, because everybody wants to believe it's like sex and you're being thrown up against the wall and you're being raped. And I have said for years, if the abuse is any good.
Hollywood is in total terror right now. Mel Gibson just issued a scary last warning, and honestly, the whole industry is shaken. What he disclosed regarding the Epstein files and Hollywood elites is going to shatter your mind, and believe me, you need to hear this. Look, in the last few days we've witnessed an avalanche of insane things hitting the internet. First, that Diddy documentary revealed his whole inner circle. Then, the Epstein files we've all been waiting for finally fell. But here's the thing. What Mel Gibson just disclosed links everything together in the most horrific manner conceivable.
Did they ever say they might?
They threatened to. My little girl, who, when I left, was still at the house.
A friend?
Huh?
What girl?
My little girl, Alex. She's about 4 now.
You mean you had a child?
Yeah.
How old were you when you had that child?
11.
This most dangerous game, as they referred to it, was a matter of human hostage. And when a mind control slave such as myself was stripped of clothes and turned loose in the woods.
In this video, you're going to learn Mel Gibson's scary warning about what's actually occurring behind closed doors in Hollywood. We're talking about alarming linkages between the Epstein files and the entertainment business. You'll discover why powerful elites are feverishly striving to suppress the truth. And we're going to look at the worrisome trend that folks like Corey Feldman and Cat Williams have been warning us about for years. So hang around, because this gets crazy. Let me take you back a little. Mel Gibson has been exposing Hollywood since he was a young star in the business. This individual witnessed things he couldn't explain. He was actually stunned by the terrible truths hidden beneath that glittering Hollywood mask. And certainly, once he began speaking out, Hollywood effectively blacklisted him. But we'll get to it. Listen to what Mel said years ago.
This is a bizarre place. And it doesn't take very long, and I'm sure you've experienced this if you've stayed here for any length of time. You come in, you're fresh from the outside. You're off the boat, from the farm, still got shit on your shoes. You're in here. People are charmed by that you've still got shit on your shoes. They're charmed by the fresh approach you bring to it. And that's a real thing. But they're also stroking the shit out of you, you know, licking you all over. And that's kind of good for you, too. It's
great.
But it doesn't take very long before you realize, or before it gets to you. It's cascading on you all the time. You can't get away from certain attitudes, from certain modes of behavior that this town and the industry dictate. And no matter how strong you are when you come in off the farm with those convictions and a certain line of attack, no matter how strong you are going to be affected by this place. It's going to divert you from where you were going.
Sure.
You're going to be diverted. When I came over here, I was in my mid-20s.
Right.
The first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on, because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And and I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be. Because a whole place can't be like, Weird Town, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill. And it's like that. And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like, could it? And then you find out later on the track that you were exactly on track with a lot of this stuff. Not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time. And you think, now this is what I mean by actually starting to swim up or downstream with the rest of the salmon, eventually, if you stay here long enough.
Yeah.
You'll find yourself doing that. And you have to, there's a way of doing it without doing it. That takes time. And it takes relaxation.
Not being uncomfortable about...
Not being uncomfortable. Realizing it for what it is.
Projecting.
Understanding what it is. Once you understand it, well, then you're not afraid of it anymore. So you can just walk around it, through it, and then get on with what you tried to get on with in the first place. A place like this can humiliate you. And it can be... It can humiliate you, it can be humbling. I mean, it does rip your life to pieces.
Does it?
If you'll let it.
Yeah.
And it's always pounding at the walls. These little guys, these little heathens with no soul downstairs with horns on their head with a battering ram trying to like beat your walls in.
Yeah.
But that's your own devils,
Yeah. I mean, as a matter of interest, do you think it's easier because you're an outsider who came in?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because it was glaring to me because I was an outsider who came in. But who isn't an outsider?
He termed Hollywood a weird environment that doesn't take long to corrupt you. When you first come in Hollywood, you're fresh from the outside. You've still got mud on your shoes. You know what I mean? People are intrigued by your unique approach at first. But here's the twisted part. They're also exploiting you from day one. Mel characterized it like this. They're massaging you, making you feel special, licking you all over like you're the next great thing. Sounds wonderful at first, right? But it doesn't take long until the industry's poisonous attitudes simply crash down on you like a torrent. And no matter how strong your views are, no matter how determined you are to remain true to yourself, this place will transform you. It'll detour you off your path. That's exactly how it works. Now, here's where it gets weird. When Mel initially moved to Hollywood in his mid-20s, he had these odd, paranoid notions about what was going on. There was a lot of things going that he couldn't grasp, and nobody tried to explain what was actually happening behind the scenes. So he began creating thoughts about the community that appeared too weird to be real. He likened it to one of those weird towns in horror movies, when a stranger stumbles in, walks into the bar, and everyone just shuts talking and looks at him. And then someone cautions you, don't go to the house on the hill. That type of atmosphere. At first Mel thought, surely that couldn't be real. I must just be paranoid and imagining things. But then, and this is the terrifying part, he found out later that he was absolutely correct. Some of his darkest worries about Hollywood were really genuine. Let it settle in for a second. Mel once said something that really struck with me.
I had a gut full of the whole industry. I mean, it's a very strange place, Hollywood. But it's an odd place. And you imagine all these horror stories there that you think, boy, it seems as if I'm being sacrificed over here. No, that couldn't be true. And then you realize that it is true. And you have to, I just left for a while and took a couple of years off, bought a place down in Australia and started digging holes and putting up fences and birthing cattle and all this kind of stuff. And it was fun, it was fun. It was great. And it was a good breather.
Yeah, and then of course the comeback, what a comeback, Lethal Weapon. It wasn't bad, was it?
It was all right.
And so to hear people say things that are just crazy, like I'm a part of a cabal and there's a whole conspiracy, which that stuff.
Hollywood is a very strange, odd place. You start imagining these horror stories and thinking, it seems like I'm being sacrificed over here. That couldn't be true, right? And then you realize it is true. That's when he decided he had to get away. He really left Hollywood for a period, took a couple of years off entirely, got himself a house in Australia, began digging trenches, putting up fences, assisting cattle give birth, just basic farm chores. It was his method of escaping the turmoil and coming back to reality. All right, now let's speak about these Epstein files that just came out because they're relevant to everything we're addressing. First up, Bill Clinton. The new files demonstrate his close links to Epstein in ways we hadn't seen before. There are fresh images showing Clinton in a swimming pool and hot tub with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, simply hanging around and being mates. And get this, Victim evidence in the files indicates that Epstein allegedly commented, "Clinton likes them young," referring to girls. That's a straight quotation from the docs. The archives also reveal that Clinton welcomed Epstein to the White House many times. He traveled on Epstein's private plane considerably more than anybody previously acknowledged. This directly contradicts what Clinton's crew has been stating for years about how he hardly knew the man. The proof is right there in black and white. But it's not just politicians. There are other unreleased images with major celebrities like Michael Jackson, Mick Jagger, Diana Ross, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, and Richard Branson, all of them captured at Epstein's houses or gatherings. Now, most of these celebrities aren't accused of any crimes in the files, but their existence tells you just how far Epstein had permeated the Hollywood and music elite. He had ties everywhere. And here's something extremely sketchy. The Department of Justice actually erased several files immediately after submitting them. Critics are arguing the data are highly redacted to protect influential persons. Some pages are fully blacked out. So the question everyone's asking is, what are they hiding? Who are they protecting? Now we're getting to the core of Mel Gibson's warning. And honestly, this part is challenging to speak about, but it's crucial.
One of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Our future is our children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness.